Dr. Dave, and today's topic is hormones. And we know a lot of you have been anxiously awaiting for this series. This is going to be a pretty big series. So what we want to focus on today is Dr. Dave's just going to do kind of a recap of the role of hormones. And then I'm going to take it over. What I really want to focus in on is estrogen dominance. So we're going to start with Dr. Dave, and you can take it from here.
All right. So a lot of people hear the word hormone and they're like, oh, that's, estrogen is for females, testosterone is for males. The truth is, all of us have both.
Yep.
We have androstenedione, we have all kinds of other ones, estriol, estrone. I mean, there's all kinds of hormones. And guess what? Remember week 1 we talked about cholesterol? They're all made from cholesterol. So, all you people that are worried about your cholesterol, well, if you're not taking them in, you're not getting your hormones right. So, basically what hormones do is control every function in the body.
Yes.
And it's all balanced. So you have amazing systems, and I actually had entire classes in school just on hormones because they play such a huge part in the body.
Yeah.
So it manages your metabolism, it manages your libido, it manages your energy, it manages your sleep, it manages everything in your body. And if one little piece gets off, all the other systems have to make up for it. Mm-hmm. So if you're estrogen dominant or something, you might have problems with anxiety, and Misty's going to talk about all those. But the other systems have to take up for it, like your adrenal glands, so you can end up with adrenal fatigue and all kinds of other stuff. So basically what we're talking about with hormones is chemicals that are secreted in the body to control function of other cells distant from where they're secreted. So it could control like what your temperature is throughout the day. It can control how much sleep you get at night. It can control every single thing in the body. And there's a lot of things that we have in our environment now that we didn't have 50 years ago that actually increase the hormones that are being put into your body. We have exogenous from like animals and stuff like that. We have plants, and Misty's going to talk on that a little bit. There's just all kinds of things that are affecting our hormones. And so Misty's just going to explain kind of one little piece today of basically estrogen dominance and trying to explain what you can do possibly, and then next week we'll talk about what we can do to fix it.
Yeah, so this week we're not going to tell you how to fix it yet. You'll have to come back again for that. But I think the first thing for people to understand is what is estrogen dominance, because most people assume it's when you have too much estrogen, but did you know that estrogen dominance can also be when you don't have enough? And so it goes either way. The pendulum can go either way. So why does a woman have estrogen dominance and some men? It affects both genders. And so what I'm going to talk about is just a few of the biggies of why you could be estrogen dominant. So we're going to start with the symptoms of estrogen dominance. There is several. We look at them as like mild to moderate to severe. And really, almost any symptom can fall under estrogen dominance. But some of the big ones for the mild is just PMS, hormonal migraines, headaches. Can't think of any. I'm having a brain freeze. Moderate could be to severe could be the fibrocystic breasts. To breast tumors, actually having breast cancer.
Uterine fibroids, all kinds of stuff like
yes, I mean the list goes on and on and on, but probably if you're a woman watching this, you're going to know if you're estrogen dominant or not, because he even mentioned the sleep problems, the mood swings. I mean, I think every woman can relate to everything. I almost giggled when he was saying that, like, oh my gosh, because everyone who's watching this can probably relate to what he's saying. So how does that happen? So let's go over just a few things, okay? So number one, birth control. And I know a lot of people watching this are probably could very well be on birth control. Let me just tell you that birth control, it tricks the body into thinking that you're already pregnant so you don't become pregnant. So it's a surge of estrogen. And you may say, well, I'm on a progesterone-based birth control. It doesn't matter because they all will do the same thing. So birth control is a huge reason why a lot of women are estrogen dominant. So if you have cramping and painful periods and cycles, then chances are, yes, you are definitely estrogen dominant. The other thing about what a lot of people don't realize about birth control pills is how the liver metabolizes it. This is very interesting because the liver requires extra amounts of the B vitamins, vitamin C, zinc, and some other vitamins and minerals to metabolize the birth control in your body. Now that creates a cascade of problems because now you're nutritionally deficient. And when you're deficient, you're going to have all kinds of problems, including heart disease. So a lot of people who have heart disease of some kind and are on birth control, we can pretty much guarantee why we know that's the problem. Weight gain, fluid retention, mood changes, and even depression and anxiety all can be because of birth control, right? The other thing that he mentioned that we really want to go into, which is huge, is something called xenoestrogens. These are found in the environment. Right. Oh my goodness, this is huge. So here's a list. I have a list in front of me. Here are places that you can find xenoestrogen. Xenoestrogen meaning it mimics estrogen in the body. So, are you ready for this? Commercially raised meats, canned foods, plastics, plastic food wraps, styrofoam cups, industrial wastes, personal care products, so all of your makeup, your beauty care line, pesticides and herbicides. This is why we encourage you to buy organic. Paints, lacquers, solvents, car exhaust, indoor toxins, cosmetics, birth control pills and spermicides, detergents, so your laundry, your fabric softeners, all artificial fragrances of any kind. So sorry, those body lotions and body sprays that you love are totally acting like estrogen in your body, are so bad for you. Your wax burners, your candles at home, all acting like excess estrogen in your body. Get rid of them. I cannot stress that enough. Get rid of the candles, get rid of the body lotions, get rid of your perfumes. I know we like to smell pretty, girls, but is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. It is wreaking havoc on your body. Air fresheners of any kind that are synthetic, you need to put in the trash today, as soon as this video is over. Can you not tell I'm a bit passionate about this? Now, some of us know right away when we hit a xenoestrogen. You know why? We get headaches. And we smell something and it's like, oh, that smell's giving me a terrible headache. Xenoestrogen. So even if you don't get an immediate reaction from it, throw it in the trash. Please do me that favor. Now there's something other than xenoestrogens that also can wreak havoc on you, and that's actually an organic form of it called phytoestrogens. So where do we find phytoestrogens? We can find it in some of our foods. So you've probably heard people who have estrogen problems to avoid soy. That's why. Soy is a big phytoestrogen, but so is legumes, flax. There are some herbs that are high in phytoestrogens like red clover. There is a Chinese herb called dong quai that you should avoid if you know you're estrogen dominant. There's also something else that is high in phytoestrogens, and that is some essential oils. And I know this is the big trend right now, but let me tell you, some essential oils will absolutely cause a spike in your estrogen levels. Some of the big ones are lavender, which I know we're told, oh, it's a hormone balancer. That's not true. It can actually do the opposite. Now, for some women, I think it does help. I'm not going to deny that. But for those of us who have a lot of symptoms of estrogen dominance, you should be avoiding lavender, tea tree, and any oils high in a component called citral. So you really need to know the constituents of your essential oils to know whether or not you should be putting it on or in your body. Another thing that causes estrogen dominance is digestion. So if you're not properly digesting proteins and fats, you should avoid, you should come see me so you can get some enzyme therapy going to make sure you're properly digesting those things. Another thing is a bowel. A toxic bowel is going to cause estrogen dominance. That is because the liver will send excess estrogen in the body into the large intestine, into your bowel to be excreted through your waste. So if you have poor digestion and your bowel gets backed up, then you end up having estrogen sitting in the large intestine, and it gets reabsorbed into the body. Isn't that just fascinating? So whenever I have a client that has cystic breast or even a history of breast cancer, I always think we need to clean out those bowels because there could be excess estrogen sitting in there and we need to work on their digestion. I think that is fascinating. And then the last piece of information, I know this is a lot, but this is the last thing, genetics. Genetics do play a role in estrogen dominance, and there's a particular gene called MTHFR, and that has to do with metabolism and methylation of estrogen in the body. But here's the good news. While we can't change your genetics, we can support your genetics and actually stop them from expressing themselves through proper nutrition. That's called nutrigenetics, and that's what I specialize in. And so by going on a really clean diet, getting rid of processed foods and the chemicals in our foods, and supporting your body through nutrition, you can actually balance out your hormones all naturally without having to use natural hormone replacement therapy and all kinds of stuff. So now there are good supplements that you can use to also support the hormones. We're not going to get into that today, so stay tuned because that's coming up.
One thing I wanted to mention, people are like, well, why is estrogen so bad? If you look at a prepubescent person going through puberty, kids, watch the girls grow up way faster than the boys. It's because estrogen actually creates more tissue growth than testosterone does. Testosterone actually causes weight loss in men as far as adiposity and stuff like that, but actually the tissue growth is much faster with estrogen, which is why your cancers and all these other fibroids and stuff grow so much faster when you're estrogen dominant. So when she was saying that, I just had to throw that in, give my little science pitch in, and have a great week.
Well, and I have one more thing to add. So men are greatly affected by phytoestrogens and xenoestrogens as well. They'll see it through hair loss, but more specifically, the only way to say it, man boobs. Yep. And you know what's really sad is when I'm at the pool now and I see 10-year-old boys that are developing boobs. And that is because of what we discussed before. And milk is a big problem for xenoestrogens, because whatever those cows are eating and consuming, if they're just mainstream eating grain, not grass-fed cows, it's going to go in their milk, and now we're consuming that. So all that to say, buy organic, raw milk is best, of course, but we'll get into that more as the weeks progress. Have a great day.
Have a great week.